All right, everybody here. Today we're going to be installing this dimmer. We're going to replace our standard dimmer and replace it with this. I am going to show you this because I was pretty frustrated at the videos that I saw online on how to install this. And so I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what you need and follow all the steps to get this installed. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not making any money out of any of these vendors or product professionals, and so I'm just going to show you because I was just frustrated at the various different videos not explaining what I really needed to do. I'm not an electrician. I'm just a regular homeowner that wanted to replace these and save some cost. Just because these things are expensive, and adding an electrician to install it just could add a lot of money. Um,
All right, sorry to interrupt here. I just wanted to say that if you haven't purchased these and you needed them, before you go ahead, and this is what I did was I looked at Home Depot and uh, Lowe's to see which one had the number of quantity that I needed. In this case, if you have 10 of them, you just look at whichever Lowe's is closest to you or Home Depot is closest to you, whatever the quantity that they have from their website for that particular store. You pick that store, and then before you go there, go on Google or eBay and look for some of these coupons. You can probably get them for a few dollars off of eBay for 10, 15, 20% depending on how much you're going to spend, and print them out after you pay for them. I think after a few minutes you'll get them. Print them out, bring them with you to Lowe's or Home Depot and buy them. Right, that's how you save maybe a couple of dollars here and there. I think I saved about 50, $60 just like that. And that gives you one of those free dimmers, right? If you're saving them. So that's what I did. So if you haven't bought them, try that out.
and I already knew how to change some of these things. I just wanted to make sure these are new, right? So they can be controlled by your phones. Um, and I wanted to save some money. Practically, I have a lot of these that I want to install throughout my house, and I could save probably $500 by giving that to an electrician. So, anyways, let me get this started. Here are the items that you'll need, and I'll explain to you why you'll need all of these items, right? You got a scissor to open this packet. Obviously, that's really hard to open. You got these Phillips and a flat. I have no idea why they call it Phillips. There's probably some reason behind it. I'm not an electrician. I never got schooled on it, so probably can Wikipedia and find out why they call it Phillips. I like to call them the plus and minus screwdrivers. You got a plier, and I'll explain why you need the plier. You got an electric check. Make sure your wire's not hot. And you got a wire stripper if you need to strip your wires, right? And an electric tape if you need it. Uh, Practically, you probably won't need an electric tape because you got these wire connectors, right? So you probably won't need them. So let's get started, and I'll explain to you. And of course, the wall plate. This comes separate. It does not come in this box. I was kind of disappointed, with the amount of money that I paid for this. It should have came with a plate, but instead I have to actually go out and buy one of these separately, and I found out that afterwards. And I'll explain how to install this as well. So this right here, this right here is what we're going to be replacing. It's a standard, switch flip up and down. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with this. I guess it's Caseta wireless. I think that's what it's called, Lutron. And I like it because I can control this with my Alexa device, and it's pretty awesome to control all your lights with this. And I found out that this one was the best one that works. So pretty standard. Flip it on, the light turns on. You flip it off, and the light turns off. And this is the lights that turn off and turn off, turn on and turn off. All right, we're going to change this to dimmable lights. One thing I forgot to mention is I bought the light bulbs that were dimmable, and so that they're already installed. That's one of those things that you probably need if you don't have dimmable lights. This is an example of the final product. This is what it's going to look like. I already installed this one, but on a two switch panel. Pretty straightforward. You bring it down, it turns off the light in slow fashion. And this is another light that I have underneath one of my walls. And so pretty straightforward. Turn it on, it turns on. You can dim it by bringing it up and down slowly and set it in Alexa. I'll show you that, how you can do that later. But that's pretty much what's the final product going to look like, minus, one of them, right? So it'll look like that.
One of the things that I wanted to mention is that there was another switch that I bought for one of my other lights that was not dimmable, and this one requires, you see the one on the left, that one requires a white wire, and I'll explain that. Basically what it means is you need one of those wires that are hot all the time, and some of these older homes, they don't have that. So you got to be careful, and if you live in one of these older homes that don't have the white wire, then it may be difficult. You may have to just probably get an electrician to figure out how to go around it if you really need that. Otherwise, I would just avoid it for now.
All right, I'm going to show you something. Right now it's still active. I haven't turned off the light yet, the electricity. The reason why is I want to show you something, okay? I'm going to open this up with the flat screwdriver. And safety is, very important, so make sure that you do turn off the light before you take off after the wall plate, before you take anything off. So, see, this is just bare bone. But I wanted to show you something before I turn off the light, and that's how you check if the electricity is really turned off. Okay, so you remember this little thing, right? This actually checks whether or not the electricity is still turned on. And all you got to do is just check. When you hear that, that means the electricity is still on. Make sure that you got to turn it off before you go to the next step, right? That's safety first. You don't want to electrocute yourself or cause a fire or whatnot, right? Safety comes first. First thing you want to do before you do anything is to turn off your breakers. At least you find the slot that you have your lights and you turn it off. You want to make sure, absolutely, turn that off. Make sure you don't get electrocuted and cause any type of fire in your house. That's the last thing you want to do. It's very dangerous. I don't recommend it if you're not comfortable doing this. So if you're not comfortable, just get a professional to do it. But again, like I said before, I'm not interested in paying an electrician $500 for something I can do myself. Here it is. Just going to flip the switch off and take it from there. And for me, it's actually this one right here. All right, I went ahead and turned off the lights. And take a look. I want to turn this back on. Still green. You see there's no, that pretty much tells you that there's no more electricity. Okay, nothing there. Okay, so now it's safe to go ahead and take that apart. Okay, and take that out. And so now that we have taken the plate out, we got to take this switch out. And now we got to use the Phillips, the plus screwdriver. Pain in the butt. We got to keep doing different anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. Pretty straightforward. And I think you can use a flat screwdriver on this as well, but it's just so much easier. So yeah, you got this right here. One of them goes to the light, the other one is the hot, and the other one is the ground, right? So you just take them apart again. Sometimes it's actually plugged right into the hole. In that case, you just press this thing right here, take it out. In our case, we got another screw here that we can just take it out. And then same thing here. Take it out and then just whip it out. And sometimes, depending on how old the house is, these wires could be different gauges. And same thing here. And again, if any electricians or anybody else is watching that can give me better advice, I'm willing to take any advice and everything, as I'm doing all of this based on my past experience that I've dealt with in other homes and that I used to live at. So now we got these 3 wires. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and open up the dimmer and install that here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead using the scissor to open this up. And take a look at what's all that's inside. Pretty straightforward. You got this, and you got a couple of the screws. These are the instructions, so you definitely want to read through them. I've read through them multiple times, and you should read them just to be familiar with what you're installing, and what the different things are and what these things are for yourself. So now you got the ground. The green one is your ground, and then you got the other one, the 2 other ones, the blacks. And I just showed you the other switch that I installed, which was not a dimmer. It was just an on and off switch. It might have a white wire, and that white wire is always hot wire. And I learned that because I was so upset that I had no idea what that was, and nobody was able to tell me. The white wire goes against the hot wire that's in the back of that, and I'll show you what that is all about in a minute. So this is what it looks like, the dimmer. You got these 3 things on the side, and in my case we won't need it. We won't need to take these out, but if you had more than one switch right next to each other, like what I had over there, you would actually use your pliers, hold them, and then take them out. Just twist it 1, 2, and then these 3 pieces will come out. And you want to take off the ones on the inside. If there's another switch on this side, you want to take this side. But if you had the switch on this side, you would take these 3 out. 1, 2, and 3. Just wiggle it and then take it out. But it's so hard to do it with your hand. You got to use the pliers to do it. Just put them right here and just twist and take them out. And so that's pretty much it. Now let's go ahead and put these together. All right, so we're back here, and you got these 3 wires. Before we go ahead and start aligning everything, I want to show you that you want to use these pliers. Sometimes these gauges are thicker and different gauge, so you want to straighten them up. Same thing over here. You want to straighten this one up as well. And this way it's easier for you to just pop it in the connector, and unless you have screws that where you just put it around it, but in our case it's not like that. You got to straighten these out. Okay, so straighten them out. Perfect. So that's that. And then before, you want to make sure that you're going to put it up in this position, right? So let's take a look at the 2 blacks. And what I wanted to show you right here, in certain homes, these wires are not cut properly, and they're, in my case, this house is pretty new, and so they cut them accordingly. I guess it's all standards, American standard. You'll see that the wires are pre-cut. Yeah, so they're pretty much same size. These are pretty American standard. And if, in case your wire is not pre-cut or too small or too big, you get one of these to cut them and just pull it out and make it exact same size. You want to make it so that it's pretty much the same size as your wires. This way you don't have anything extra, and you don't want to cause any sparks or anything like that inside. And I'm sure there's some other reasons as well, but in my experience, that's what I noticed. So one thing is I wanted to show and point out is you see these additional, there's a white thing in there, this right here. And what that is actually not that one, the one in the back. I don't know if you can see it, but right there. So that one is a white wire. And if you had the other one, just an on and off switch, you would use that for the white wire. You would just plug it into that. And that gives you constant power. And in my case, this switch doesn't need constant power. It just needs the three wires. But if you had a switch, not this one, but another one that just has an on and off without the dimmer, you would probably need the hot one, which is a white wire. I wish I had known that. It took me a while. Nobody really told me. I had to do a lot of research to figure out and read some books and do some Google searching. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me put these in. I'm going to go ahead and align these properly. I'm going to align the, just make sure they're separate. This is my ground. You always want to go clockwise. Clockwise screws it in. I didn't know that. My first time I did that, I was going the opposite way, and that was a good learning experience for me. I didn't know that, and I taped it so much with the electric tape. And so I'll align the other one. The black and black, just you can match it. You really can't tell which is which until you turn it on. But you don't want to really touch it either at that time. So you got these two. Put the connectors in. Now you got everything connected. You want to make sure they're aligned properly. Push these things in. I want to push them in nicely. Don't want to make sure that nothing touches another. I know it's a little bit. I wish they had, made them bigger or something. I'm sure they. Oh, the other thing is, you see this blue thing? They have a special case just for this switch. You can take this blue one out and replace it, but that was just too much work for me. I wasn't plus another $6. I was going to spend another $6 for that, just for this. You can just align it on top of that, and it would go really nice and seamlessly. And pretty much that's it. You got. All right, so I'm about to put this in. You got the screw in here. Align it properly. Don't screw it in all the way in yet, not just yet. And the reason why is because and I learned this the hard way. The first one that I installed, it was a little slanted, and my wife got upset. So I was just it's like, why don't you just get a real electrician to do it? So then I just opened it up again and realigned it. Okay, don't screw it in all the way. And before I go ahead and do it all the way, one thing I want to. All right, so I got this. I'm gonna go ahead. It's a little bit difficult to open with your hands. If you're strong enough, you can probably do it. I can just pull it. But easiest thing, get a flat screwdriver, open it like this. It opens up pretty quickly, and you don't want to like destroy it, right? These things are like $7. And so you want to be careful. Put your finger in there, slide it up, and it snaps open. Boom. Okay. So you got this little device. Put it in, make sure it's aligned properly. And again, now instead of the flat one, now you need the plus screwdriver. Take these little things out. I apologize if this video is not the best, but I wanted to get all of my points across, which I haven't seen in any of the other videos. So I want to align it, make sure that it's straight. Okay, it may look a little bit slanted on the video, but when I'm looking at it straight like this, it looks perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure. There you go. Okay. Go ahead and again lift the alignment. It looks pretty straight. Yeah, I think that looks straight. Right there, yeah. Alright, so before I go ahead and snap this, the other two in, I'm going to go ahead and snap this one in. The smaller one. One thing I forgot to do, tell you, before you put this faceplate in, let's test and see if this light actually works. That's important because if you had the wiring incorrect, you might have to take the plate out again and it might not work. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Right now it's off, the light is off, right? I turned it off. Let me go ahead and turn the light back on. I'll be right back. All right, so I turned the lights back on, and I'm going to go ahead and see if it actually turns on. Yeah, it did. Perfect. Nice. Very nice. And I'm going to show you real quick what I mean. I'm going to press this on button and show you. There you go. There's on and there's off. See that? On and off. Now I can always bring this down and dim it slowly. You can see that it's actually working nicely. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. That's simple. Alright, now that we've tested it and it works, let's go ahead and screw it in final and make sure everything is aligned properly and all the screws are in. Let's finish this up. Screw that in slightly, not completely, but just slightly. Same thing here. Alright, now I'm going to take the faceplate, and this actually is not the faceplate, this is just the frame for the faceplate. And now we're going to still need the plus screwdriver, the Phillips, and again on the floor. These screws are very tiny, and it comes with the plate. Put it on, put the faceplate on, make sure it's aligned properly, and it looks like it is, so that's good. Push it in a little bit, slightly. Oops. Screw it in, and again, from the angle that you're looking at, because it's on a tripod, you might see it slightly at an angle, but from where I'm looking at straight, it is actually straight. Okay, that's it. You can tighten this up, you can tighten that one up, tighten this one up, and tighten this one up. Alright, we're good. There's something not correct, and I have to take a look and see what it is. I took the plate out again because there's something wrong, and I'll show you what that is. You see this, the side of this, it's actually touching the blue, and so it's not, this side of it is popping out a little bit. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to make sure that they both don't touch it the way it's supposed to, and make sure they're aligned again within the box. And if that doesn't work, I'll have to probably remove one of these, this side. Let me just try to align and see if that works. Yeah. There, you see this right here? For some reason, the edge of this is not touching properly. Oops, I turned it off. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remove that. I'm not liking it. I'm gonna remove it. I'm gonna pause it. What I'll do is I'll show you how to remove this. And again, I don't know 100% sure. They say that if you remove these, there's gonna be some voltage lost, and I'm okay with it because I'm not powering something huge. This is just simple 4 lights. That's it. This is controlling just 4 lights. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the light, the electric switch, and then take this out. Remove these 3 pieces, and I'll show you. Alright, so the lights are off. It doesn't turn on. You can see that there's no lights in here. I'm going to take this off, and I'm just going to remove one side. I mean, I think you can remove just one of them, but it would look weird. So I'm going to remove all 3, just to be completely consistent. Alright, so I did take it off, and I'm going to show you how easy is it to just take these 3 things out, okay? All you got to do is on the edge, using a plier, one of these flat pliers, just hold it on the edge and just twist it slightly, a little bit. And boom, it's out. That's all that simple was. Same thing. And this is one of the reasons why this company sells a bracket just for this particular type of dimmers. It has its own custom box. that you can put in. And so, you can just take these out. You don't need them. And now it should be aligned pretty evenly. Go. Yep, there we go. Now we got to take the plus screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and slightly push it in. Alright, so now it looks pretty decent. I'm going to go ahead and put the frame on, see if it looks even. And sure enough, it does. There we go. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll turn the lights on again. I just turned it off because I opened it up to align it properly. And I'm going to screw this in. And we're good to go. Okay, there we go. Looks straight, tight, nice and easy. Last thing you want to do is put this plate on, and it's just pretty much a snap on. You see that? Nothing else to do. Boom, push it in. Snapped on, looks good, clean cut. There you have it. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn on the light, and you can take a look. All right, I turn on the electric thing, and there we go. It turned on. We're good to go. And here you go. I press the on button, you're on. Turn it off, dimmed up, and there you go. That's it, pretty much. It's pretty quick. And now I'm going to show you how to connect this to Alexa. Alright, so I have to show you this on a different phone because I have my Alexa app on my other phone. Anyways, so what we got to do is we got to add a device. So we're going to go into this, click on add new device. Make sure you're connected to your Wi-Fi. And we're going to say the in-wall dimmer switch, exactly what it is. And so now what we have to do is go over here and hold this down for maybe 3 seconds until it starts blinking. And you'll see it, it'll start blinking. There you go. Okay. Then it's going to recognize it. It automatically did and went to the next page. Then you got to find out. I'm going to put basement because this is my basement and it's actually not the stairs, not the bathroom. Okay, okay. So maybe go to other. Let's see, basement. Anything else? Utility room. There's no theater. Maybe media. Okay, how about this theater? Okay, that's what this is. I'm gonna go ahead and click next. These are ceiling lights. Main ceiling lights. Next. Boom. Okay, so I turned it off. See that? Once it recognized it, it turned it off and it turned it back on. And there you go. That's it. And I'm done. I'm just going to say I'm done. And Alexa should now be able to discover the devices. Alright, so I got my Alexa and I'm going to go ahead and connect that device, that switch that we just installed. And before we do that, just turn your lights on, that switch on, and I already did. So we're going to go ahead and ask Alexa to take a look. Alexa, discover devices.
Starting discovery. This will take 45 seconds. To connect your lights or plugs, just turn them on now. For locks and other products, refer to the manufacturer's instructions to put them in pairing mode.
So what it's going to do now is it's going to go ahead and find the switch. And once it does, it'll either turn it off or automatically just register it into your Alexa app.
I found one new light called theater main lights. To control it, say, turn off theater main lights.
Alexa, turn off theater main lights.
Okay.
Good. So I did it. Alexa, turn on theater lights.
A few things share that name. Which one did you want?
Theater lights.
Okay.
There you go. We're done. All right. So I just did this. I just did this 3 switch. Followed the same procedure. The only difference is if you have a red wire, that red wire pretty much indicates that you have a switch or you have a light that is controlled by two different switches. So just make sure, you know, if you do have a red wire, to not to use these because they won't work with a double switch. You have to get another type of switch.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe and hit the like button. And please give me any feedback, anything that you thought that I made a mistake on. I would really appreciate you giving me a comment on that and let me know. I'm always willing to learn some new stuff. So, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.